Welcome back. April is National Child Abuse and Sexual Assault Prevention Month. Working hard to tackle these unfortunate issues facing our children is Maralee Mclean from the Fight Back Foundation. All right, so Maralee, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Gina, for having me.
All right, let's talk about this topic and how it's affecting our children.
Immensely. Gina, there are so many of these cases where children are not protected, and the ACE study research, which was done by Dr. Vincent Folletti, was done in the 80s, and it shows adverse childhood experiences and what happens to these children. And we can go into it as far as like obesity or eating disorders, depression, suicide, substance abuse, and then you have post-traumatic stress disorder, you have anxiety, so there's lots of different avenues that this faces. And so what we can do is that research, if people understood it a little more, we could prevent a lot of these cases. Now the other side of it is the CDC, not the CDC, but Bruce Perry did a study on the brain, and it actually affects the children's brains. It changes the balance of their brain and the chemicals of their brain. So it's huge to look at this issue and do something about it, because it's affecting thousands and thousands of our children.
Well, these statistics are quite alarming, aren't they?
They are.
I mean, some of the things that they tell us, because it does affect so many aspects of their life.
Obviously, it's so. The statistics we have are like 1 in 10 children, by the time they're 18, will be sexually abused. 20% of children before their 8th birthday will be abused. It's not, you know, these cases, when children come forward with abuse, they're not usually false. It's very rare for them to be false. And 90% of children that are abused, it's by someone they know, someone close to them, either in the family or somebody close to the family.
So you went ahead and you wrote this amazing book. It's called Prosecuted But Not Silenced, Courtroom Reform for Sexually Abused Children. Talk about why this is important and why people really need to be paying attention to this.
I wrote this book due to my own case here in Colorado, where I could not protect my daughter from sexual abuse when she was young. And I saw the system failing, so I kind of documented everything. And what the book is the emotional story, but behind it has the research and the legal. So it's an educational tool for judges, lawyers, social workers, psychologists, GALs, anybody involved in the system with sexual abuse, because it actually is a case study of it. And there are thousands and thousands of these cases. I get calls every day with people going through the exact same thing with their children not being protected.
So how does the money raised for this then help the Fight Back organization?
Well, that money will go to the Fight Back organization for awareness, but mainly we're going to collaborate with Darkness to Light, and that money is going towards that. We will be doing a law module to help get this information out there, and what it will be is training with the top specialists in the nation, also the best research, the latest research. And Darkness to Light is an organization that they're huge. They're in 50 states. They're in 17 countries. They have over 10,000 facilitators, where there's no better way to get this information out and do the training that I believe, and a lot of people believe, and we know it's happening, where our children are not being protected. And that is even throughout our court system. That's why courtroom reform. And so that will be going out, and that will be the financing towards that,
Is that training really, do you feel like, the #1 way we can improve the protection of children from being exploited like this?
I think the #1 is people being aware and conscious of what's going on. And people being aware, and we need accountability. Everybody needs to have accountability to this issue. It's childhood trauma, and we all have to be a part in it. So I think that's the huge issue, because it's destroying a lot of children.
Well, yes, not even a question about that. Would you say this is, in fact, a public health issue?
Oh, absolutely, Gina. You know, it is just with the Vincent Folletti study that I just told you about, with all the sicknesses and health problems. That's one part of it, and the brain changes. But more than that, the CDC even says that it's a national health problem. It's $210,000 for every abused child. That's not sexually abused, all sexually abused, but it's abused children. But yes, this is absolutely a health issue that is damaging our society as a whole.
So there are people who are probably watching this right now. Maybe they are not victims themselves or know someone. How can they help? How can they, if they're watching right now, help the situation?
They could donate to Fight Back Foundation. They could. This is the best way to prevent absolutely something that is preventable. And help the children with the public health crisis, what they're going forward to get into, what they're having to face. So I really believe that's one of the ways to help the most right now. And other ways to get involved through Darkness to Light, be a steward, and learn how to teach and educate other adults on this.